Okay, guys, we're going to get started. Appreciate you coming on as always. What we're going to talk about today, because I've been getting a tremendous amount of questions on it, is we're going to talk about the feature that Facebook has developed that lets you kind of, we'll call it online pay-per-click advertising. They call it boosting. But basically, it allows you to create some sort of, article, ad, and then go in there, put some money down, and then get more exposure on it. More importantly, to a really specific target market. So you can kind of select your target market, and your ad will show up on their Facebook feed. So maybe that overwhelmed you, maybe that made sense, maybe it didn't, but let me just kind of rewind, go through the basics, and try to educate you on how it all works. So in basically 2004, Facebook came out, and it was really a person-to-person type, called a social network. In 2008, Facebook allowed businesses to create their own pages obviously for their entities, and that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the Facebook business page for benefitstore.net. And then in 2013, Facebook went public, right? So once they went public, it was kind of the quest to make more money, per se. And their first idea was, well, let's let people advertise on Facebook and they can pay us, and that'll be a revenue stream. So that's kind of when this started. And it started off slowly, but now I see more and more people trying it, more and more people either getting results or failing miserably. So what I'm talking about is if you go to your Facebook business page and you look under a post you've already done, you will see a blue or a purple boost button, okay? And this is kind of what I'm talking about. So I kind of did a post. It was a tip on how to, it was kind of a tip directed towards insurance professionals on how to use LinkedIn, and I'm kind of trying to highlight it here. If I wanted to, I could get this post to go out to people who currently weren't following my page. So that's the point. You're trying to tap into people who are not following your page. Here are kind of my notes here, and what I always try to say is yes, it definitely can be very valuable. You can get results with this kind of stuff. You can also waste a lot of money because, in my opinion, the challenge is there are a lot of variables with how it all works. So I think the real main key to success is to expect to do quite a few of them before you hit the sweet spot. So let me kind of go in here and try to explain to you what I'm talking about. So I'm in here, I'm looking at this one post, and I'm going to click the Boost Post button. And what comes up here on the left are what I would call these variables, okay? And I'm just going to highlight it real quick so you can see what I'm talking about, this area with the X. But basically what you can do is you can go in here and click on the Edit Audience button, and, they will come up with default settings. So right now, if I wanted to boost this, you can see that this ad is going to go to people who are 25 miles, a radius of 25 miles away from my current location, Randolph, New Jersey, okay? And anyone between 18 and 65 plus, so basically everybody, is going to get it. And it's going to be men and women, and there's a few little, what I would call interest buttons in here that you can put in. So right now it's basically going to everybody in this radius. Now I guess where I'm going is this is where it gets really complicated, and this is where people waste a lot of money because they haven't really thought about how it all flows and how it all works. So step one is to obviously come up with some sort of very specific promotion that you want to do. I think the more specific you can be, the better. And here's an example. The first thought always is, well, let me promote my website. Let me promote my agency. In my opinion, that's too broad because you do a lot of things, and your website probably has a lot of different things on there. You want to probably take it down a level to the actual product level. So you want to be you may be wanting to promote a specific product. So if you're going to promote a specific product, that probably affects the age range. So let's say you're going to try to promote Medicare, right? Then you probably are going to have an age range here of 64 or maybe 63 to 65 plus, which is 63 to whatever, 100 or something like that. I'm sure you can knock it down if you wanted to just be 63 to 64. But I think that's the easy part. The hard part are these interests, okay? And I was thinking about this for a while, and you know, probably our first inclination is to put like insurance and to put Medicare there. You know who's going to probably see those ads? Competition, right? So somebody who's looking to buy Medicare, they probably aren't going to have on their face, because let me rephrase it, and I'm probably going too fast here. These are things that people have typed into their Facebook profile as their interests. Are there any, you know, non-insurance people that are going to put insurance as their interest? No way. No way they are. They're going to put boating, fishing, golf. You know, you think so. I guess my point is think about what your target market most likely is interested in. If you think there are some specific areas of interest, put it in. If you don't think there are, don't put it in. Don't put anything. Because remember, by putting these things in, it will shrink the amount of people that this can go to, which can be good and it can be bad. So I guess in general what I'm trying to say is and I kind of put it in my notes, you know, there's going to be a lot of trial and error needed. There are a lot of beautiful little variables in there that can really help you target it. That's kind of the first thing you have to think about. Who's my target? Well, obviously step one is to figure out what am I trying to promote. Step two is trying to figure out who is the target for that promotion. And then step three is the hardest part, actually coming up with an advertisement. Because remember, when you are doing this, it's going to go to people's feeds. So I'm on my feed, right? And you know, it's all, so your ad is just going to show up in here. And your target, it will show up on your target's feed. But one, you probably have to have a real eye-catching picture so that people see it, you know, like this nice little whatever it is, iguana, or, you know. So step one is to, when you're coming up with the ad, is to have a good picture. Step two is to probably have like 1 or 2 sentences that paint the picture about what you're trying to promote. And then step three is to have what's called a landing page. And this is very important, having a page that people can click on and then get the depth of the overview of how you can help them. So here's an example of a landing page I kind of created recently about living benefits. And I have a client who's been doing a lot of pay-per-click on Facebook and on Google. And, you know, the landing page isn't anything amazing. You know, it kind of comes in, it explains how, you know, he can help people with living benefits. Got a nice little graph here. But most importantly, it has some call to action where people can kind of request a free consultation. They can fill it out, he gets emailed, and that's how he knows if he's being successful with his advertising, right? I mean, I don't think you'd want to have your phone number in here. This is Facebook. It's a whole nother level of, you know, user to some extent. So making sure that your advertisement has the right verbiage, has the right picture, and has the right landing pages, that makes a huge difference. And like I said, I've seen a lot of clients play around with this. They get the itch to try it. They've spent, some of them, in upwards of a few $100s. And unfortunately, I've had conversations with them where they're almost like mad at Facebook. It doesn't work. It doesn't do this. And I kind of looked at what they did, and they didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle in place. Maybe they just tried to boost a few sentences. Hey, I can help you with final expense insurance. Call me today. That was their ad. You know, it didn't have a picture. It didn't have a landing page. It didn't really explain why they can help people. So these are things that if you want to go down this route, you really want to consider before you put your credit card in there, because that's what Facebook is going to ask you to do. Once you want to start boosting, you know, you come up with your ad and then you set like the amount you want to pay. And I believe the more you pay, the more the people will see it, and the longer people will see it. But what I suggest you do if you are interested in something like this, go and play around with it a little bit before you set anything up, just like I'm doing. Come in here, click on the boost button, and you know, you can really start to play around with you know, the different parameters. And again, I didn't scroll down before, but you can kind of see it gives you the estimated amount of people who are going to see it. It gives you the duration it's going to show up for, and it allows you to really fine-tune the ad, which in my opinion is going to be kind of the future of advertising to some extent. So I think it's good to understand how all this stuff works, and it's good to start thinking about, you know, I guess I call it like, marketing spots that you can get yourself, involved in for a minimal investment and start driving people to some landing pages. Long story short, if you get to that point, feel free to give me a call. I'll design you a landing page. I mean, it's no cost. It's part of the website package you have with me, and we'll make it look nice. And certainly, I would be happy to look at your ad, and I'll give you some honest feedback because I don't want you wasting money either. I want to help you get results. So that's the story.